Helen's going to keep an eye on the chat. There we go.
All right.
We're getting all set up to go live. So excited. Helen's going to keep an eye on the chat. There we go. Let me take that off. There we go. Welcome, everybody, to Tooltip Tuesday. I'm Jennifer from Little Metal Foxes, and I've got with me Julia.
Also from Little Metal Foxes.
And Helen.
Hi.
And Victoria Lansford and
Rauni Higson.
Rauni Higson. Greetings. Welcome, friends. I see it's dark outside.
It is.
Where you are. Yeah. Helen and I have had the pleasure of driving through Wales once. It was exciting.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Driving on the wrong side of the road for them.
It was quite fun.
I'm in London, so it's
Yes, and so we got to Cardiff and ended up renting a car. I ended up driving, and I was like, "Wait, what's happening?" Helen navigated. We went up to Pontypool to visit Lee Appleby. So yeah, it was really fun. But you are in way north Wales, correct?
Yeah, I'm up in the sort of more mountainous area, which is, I mean, they're not mountains compared to US mountains, but they are.
What's happening?
They once were. They were once bigger mountains, and now they've been rubbed down, like like right. the Appalachians and the Blue Ridge. Yeah.
The same mountain range from Pangaea originally. Same.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then there you go. And now they're just like little soft blue hills.
They're still proper mountains.
They're
just Vikings, you know, but the it's not the Alps, but they're right. Mountains. And here's the thing: is I'm coming to you live from the midst of Avalon because I'm pretty sure this is really where Avalon is, and it's magical because I look out the window where I'm staying, and sometimes the mountains are there, and sometimes they're not. I haven't actually seen. You have to pronounce it. The used to be formerly known as Snowdon.
Erwydfa.
Thank you, my translator. And,
that's Welsh language. The Welsh language name for the mountain that used to be Snowdon. It's called Erwydfa, but it's officially called Erwydfa now.
That's such a beautiful name. So much more beautiful than Snowdon. Erwydfa. Yeah.
Oh, it's much more beautiful, but it's going to take more days before I learn to say it correctly and not insult people.
Well, luckily you're going to be there for a few more, yes. So that's good.
Yes, I am so lucky to be here for an entire week, hanging out in Rauni's studio, and it has been a lot of show and tell, a lot of laughing, and a bit of hammering.
Yeah,
right.
We have done some hammering though. It's only day 2.
It is. It is.
Well, tell us a little bit about. You told me, Victoria, but tell us a little bit about how you met and then how this trip came to be.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. We were both in an online course with Jessica Abel, sort of asynchronously a little bit in one of her courses. It's a professional development, or she runs a series of professional development courses for artists and creatives. And at one point, Jessica went, "Wait, don't you two know each other? How do you know each other? You two need to know each other." Yeah. Oh, well, okay. We'll email, and then discovered we couldn't figure out how we didn't already know each other because we had lots of colleagues and friends in common. And,
right.
So we chit chatted on email for a little bit, and then we did a Zoom, and then we were in another one of Jessica's courses, and pretty soon we were virtual studio mates, chit-chatting every day, despite the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It is such an amazing feeling to find your tribe, even if your tribe isn't on the same part of Pangaea that you're on.
So we leave each other like walkie-talkie messages through Boxer, so we're always having a long conversation, but with gaps because of the 5-hour time difference or whatever. So we've just been asynchronously going on ever since, haven't we?
Almost 2 years now. Almost 2 years. So my husband and I had talked about coming over several years in a row because he had something he wanted to do in Cornwall. And I said, well, if we're actually going to make that trip.
now we're going.
Right. So,
now we have a reason to go.
Exactly. Yeah. And we tried to make it work last year and it wasn't going to work, but this year we made it happen. So yeah,
it must be so cool to be having a conversation in real time, right? Like to not have the asynchronous, Marco Polo thing happening.
Yeah, and also in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Exactly. The height differences are more obvious in person.
Just a bit.
Oh, oh my gosh. Well, Victoria and Rauni, tell us a little bit because I'm fascinated with your work, Rauni, and how I know that's one of the reasons that Victoria wanted us to sort of have a chance to talk to you is a little bit about your work and your studio. And you've done some really beautiful, important work for the Crown as well as for some rather large institutions that have beautiful pieces. So do you guys want to talk to us a little bit about that and about the studio and show us around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously the larger commission works aren't here.
Yeah. They kind of went where they were going. Yes.
There's some smaller ones that I'll make her show off.
Good.
And I know you guys will put the links in.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. There's an amazing animation of the cross that just makes my heart sing, and we will put a link to that in the description of the video. So.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I made a very large scale in considering silver processional cross for Liverpool Metropolitan Cathedral, which is it's a Catholic cathedral, and it was consecrated in 1968. So in 2018 they had their 50th anniversary, and they never had a cross made for the contemporary with the cathedral. And there's so many interesting, and there's loads of amazing silver in there, and the crucifix on the altar is by Elizabeth Brink. There's loads of amazing sculpture, amazing stained glass. So yeah, luckily they asked me to make a processional cross, but it's 2.3 meters tall, so 7.5 feet.
Yes.
It's quite
it's a big sucker, as we would say in the US.
And I designed it in the round because the architecture is in the round. So the cathedral is in the round and there are no pillars, so everyone can see from everywhere and there's no obscured views. And because the congregation are in the round and the altar is in the center, so the procession goes in the round. So I wanted it to appear as a cross from every direction. And so it's got 8 arms. So it's three-dimensional, and it doesn't matter which direction you're looking at it, it appears as a cross. And then, as you mentioned, there's an animation now which was done by Stephen Heaton, and it's absolutely amazing. But it's a 3D reconstruction, a 3D map of it,
assembly map. Yes. Yeah.
And how it goes together, so you see all the parts separately and how it all fits together, because there was quite a lot of engineering to make it work for 2 reasons. One was that it had to be really lightweight, so it's actually made from really quite thin gauge. Sorry, I don't know gauges, but it's like most of it's made only from 0.8 mil silver, because otherwise it was going to be so heavy. So it's all hollow, hammered forms and soldered, but actually not very thick. And it
had to come apart, I assume, for storage.
I know it's all put together. It was more the reason why it had to be made out of different parts was basically because it would have been intensely perilous to solder it all together at that sort of scale with so many hollow parts, and nobody would have been able to polish it without actually dying. That was another reason. So all the parts had to be
right. You have to be able to disassemble it to clean it. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
So there was lots of reasons why why it had to be put together with cold fixing engineering, but I wanted it all to be invisible. So I wanted it to happen, to look like it had happened effortlessly, but the
Magic.
verse is
Right?
true.
The effort that goes into making something look like magic. And yes.
Yeah.
Right. And it's all anaclastic. The components for the cross,
Yeah.
for the arms are anaclastic and then capped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all forged.
Yeah.
But
And I'm
it's
sorry
so-
you guys won't be seeing it in the moment, but you will be able to look at the video.
it's
You will be able to go,
video.
ooh, ah, because it's amazing. Yes, it's incredible.
They're so perfectly polished and smooth that most people would assume that those are cast components.
Right.
But Rauni's, I mean, we're gonna show the hammer rack.
Show us the hammer rack.
And we're gonna show you, and I will just say my first reaction walking in this space, which I've seen on Zoom, right, and I've seen other video footage of it and everything, and I still went, that's the most number of hammers and stakes I have ever seen in one place. And she went,
Yes, I win. I have more toys. I win. Yes. I'm so with you, Rauni.
Very childish.
no, it's what we all do, isn't it?
I mean, a big part of the joy of making stuff out of metal is all of the metal tools you get to own, right? I mean, it's like we're just metal heads and we just want all the metal, all the different kinds. Yes.
Yeah, we do. And you have a tip too. We need to remember to show off the really cool tip, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For the stumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can do that.
Okay. Yeah. So
An actual tool tip.
we're gonna
Yeah.
take a moment. We didn't talk about the some of the other major pieces, but I know you guys are gonna put links, but we will go to the live
You have some little pieces you can show. You said you had some.
Yeah. So we're gonna
Little.
take a moment and switch
Okay. Switch
audio.
cameras.
Yeah.
Switch audio.
And we'll be right back.
Okay, shall I turn this audio?
Yeah,
off?
you turn that one off, and I'm gonna get on over here.
I think you have to turn your video on. There we go. Nice. So say something. I'm not sure we can hear you. I can't. Oh,
That
there we
that
go.
is the
There we go.
most hammers I have ever seen.
Okay,
There
there
we
we go.
Now we
All
can.
right.
Wow, that is beautiful.
So impressive. Oh my God.
Well, and I also just love that they're all hanging there and they're all like right where you can get at them, and you can see the heads, you can see the exact shape, and they're both beautiful and available to be functional.
And
All of
all the
that.
steaks and all the mandrels and steaks in there. Oh my God. What a
Yeah.
lovely, it's like a buffet.
You just want to lick them. Is that what you're saying, Jennifer? Yeah. No, we're not licking your hammers. What's your
No.
favorite one, Rauni? Do you have a favorite? I mean,
My favorite
for
hammer?
all your children. So
Oh my
of course.
God, that's a dreadful question, but
Dreadful question.
it might be this one. This is definitely one of my favorites. So I refurbed this from it was completely rusty all over the faces as well. But it's, old and really good quality drop forged steel. And I shaped it, ground the faces
Mhm.
and
To get the exact shapes that you want for your work.
yeah. And it's got a really good weight. I had to put the handle back on, obviously, or put a new handle on, but it's just got a really good weight and it's very satisfying. And I use those curves a lot, partly because they're kind of directional, not round faces, but pillow shape. So I use that a lot. I mean, God, I don't know. I've got loads of
So tell me, did you pick that one up
Favourites.
at a car boot sale?
Yeah, I think it was £1,
There you
like
go.
£1.
Mhm. It probably had a
So that
cracked
makes it
hammer,
even
a
more
cracked handle.
precious.
Mhm.
And in production.
Oh
you
yeah,
have-
and I am in production working on like a course, online course about refurbing rusty old hammers and making, putting the handles on and cleaning the rust. I didn't even clean the rust off this body of it, but I just cleaned the ends. But actually, yeah, one of my tool tips would be about using old tea, as in tea bags, well stewed tea, to kill rust. So it actually dissolves rust off stuff.
Wow, the tannic acid just like eats it
Yeah,
off?
you
Wow,
have to
that's
leave.
so cool.
Make a strong brew of tea with a good few tea bags, and just let it be. Put all the tools in it, rusty tool. They can be really rusty, and
like some Yorkshire tea.
yeah, Yorkshire tea would be good. Yeah, it's nice and strong.
Yeah.
And you just leave them in for a couple of days. I mean, depending on how rusty they are, you can leave them in for maybe 3 nights or something like that. And then you'll be amazed. You can just basically wipe it off, brush it off, rinse it off. But you do have to oil them straight away, because they will rust very quickly after you've done that, because you've basically kind of cleaned it all off. But
what a wonderful low tech, you're not having to get, I mean, we have all these products here in the States, like wood bleach and all these other things.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to go get anything else. Like, who doesn't have some tea in their house? Well, if you don't, you should go get some, because you should have it.
Exactly. But also it's environmentally really sound, because it's not damaging, is it?
You can just put it down the drain when you're done, or put it out on your garden, little iron flakes and some compost. Yep.
It turns sort of slightly purpley black, and it smells a little bit fruity, weirdly. So I don't know what that is, a reaction between the rust and the tannic acid, I guess.
You're making like a fermented tea kombucha.
There you go. I have to pan this down here.
Okay.
Because there are more.
Like it goes, there's more. No, are you kidding? It's the way it's
Wow.
supposed to
That
be. And yet more.
is phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so while I'm over here, do you want me to show the stump?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, you said you had a tip for stumps.
Yeah, so I have quite a few stumps, and I've got upside down carpet underneath them. So I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
It's carpet, but with the carpet face down to the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And it just means I can really easily reconfigure the whole workshop, because you can move the stump.
Right. Despite its weight, it slides.
Yeah, it slides really easily.
It's funny that you did that, because when we put our dishwasher in place, and actually when we put our stove in place, we had a piece of hardy backer board to put under it, because we have, like marmoleum under it. And I was like, we're putting some indoor-outdoor carpet underneath the hardy backer board so that it will slide in. So
yeah,
it's just brilliant. Yes.
Can you show us that again, just one more time? I want to get a quick picture of that. That was amazing. Yes, here it is. Oh, yes.
Carpet.
Yes, thanks.
I love it. That is brilliant.
I'm sorry. Do you want to see some work?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is a beaker that I've made, just about to send to a client, and it's with a coaster, but the coaster can also be a lid.
Oh,
and it's gilded inside. So this is done by hammer chasing. So I filled the beaker with pitch, and instead of chasing this with tools, I've just basically used the hammer directly. So
your favorite hammer or a different one?
I definitely used that on this, but it would have been something a bit tighter to get into that kind of corner, and then this is just vanished. So it's kind of pushed in from that side and raised up and vanished from there.
A lovely shape, a graceful line.
Oh, thank you. And it's got some, so there's kind of like a wave.
Trying to block the light, but yeah.
There's a wave on one side, quite a subtle decoration, and that side's kind of like flow of air. So one's flow of water, and that's kind of a vortex.
You did something.
So that's one.
You used that sort of wave pattern on, was it the women's medal or the Her Majesty's ship that had that beautiful sort of wave in it?
Oh, this, yeah, the wave was on the I made a cup for HMS Prince of Wales, which is like a new
yes, that
new
was
warship, actually.
It was an exquisite piece that you did. Yeah, I saw that detail, and I was just very, it caught my eye.
Yeah, it was funny though, because I thought, well, I'll make a thing about the sea, and I did a wave, and I made it so that it was like really base heavy, and it wouldn't. I was like, in case it moves on the ship. And when I spoke to them about it, they went, "Oh, she doesn't roll." Because this ship is just so massive, it just cuts through the ocean, whatever the ocean is doing.
Oh my gosh!
The ocean is she's the mistress of her domain.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a little teapot that I made recently, and this was an experiment. So it's actually my first proper teapot that I've made. I don't know why I never got round to it, but
because you're busy.
Yeah,
major scale
okay.
for important clients. That's how that works.
So it was an experiment in raising in one piece. So the spout is basically kind of pulled out of the raising. It's a bowl, and this is kind of not raised in. So instead of starting with a disc, I started with a slightly egg-shaped. It was a complete experiment. I know that this is done in Japan and Korea and maybe some other places. So I just thought, I wonder if I can do it. So I gave it a go, and it worked out pretty well. So it was raised. And this area is just left out and then raised in to get the spout, and then just bust through. So it's all one disc with no, that's obviously applied, but apart from that, it's just basically a bowl. And the handle.
Sorry, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand where the edges of the original disc ended up. Okay.
There.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So it's seamless, and then you basically raised an egg. Yes, you did say that. Raised sort of an egg shape, and then kind of elongated the point of the egg, and then cut the tip off. Essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. I just bust it through with a sharp tool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that gets so narrow is by leaving it out and then kind of raising it in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a job to get tools in there, actually. It was quite it was experimental. And the handle is slate, so this is foraged from my local quarry. And I carved it.
It feels so good, because I've handled some of the slate up in Scotland, and it's oh my gosh, nice.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing how good a polish you can get on it with just working up the grades of emery, wet and dry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't know if the color's showing up, but it's really purpley, so it's not just gray.
Yeah, I get
it's exquisite.
That.
You get a hint. I got to walk through the old quarry this morning on the way here, and it was
nice.
It was, all I can say is, because it's disused now, and so nature has reclaimed much of it, and it's like you expect hobbits around the corner.
Yeah.
Berries in the moss.
That is gorgeous, Rauni. I have one question about it, though. How does it pour?
Oh, beautifully, of course.
Of course it does. And it doesn't drip, does it? No, because it's a well-made teapot.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly.
I have to say, I didn't know that it was going to immediately pour well, but it did. And if it hadn't have immediately poured well, I would have just had to keep going until I did.
Until you got it to pour well. But your instincts in terms of its shape were correct on the first go. Really, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I suppose I am. Yeah. Thanks.
No, I think that's a testament to your your decades of understanding the metal. So
So we
Yeah,
actually have a
and
question about the spout. Is there a trick to making it so it doesn't drip?
yeah, I think there's a few. It's to do with what happens right on the end there. But what's interesting is I think I've seen in various different old books that you either have to have it like really sharp or do a curve off it. So I think I've seen conflicting advice about that. But it's to do with the breaking the surface tension at just the right moment. So when it cuts off, the tea will fall out and then fall back inside. So it's what's happening right on the edge that counts. And that's why if this is too fat or, maybe it's got some jagged edge on the inside, or it's got to be smooth, and it's got to be smooth in that direction. And I'm not sure exactly. I mean, this is quite sharp, actually. It's because it's quite thin at that point, because I've already, it's really thick here, but right on the edge, it's quite thin. So it just stops cleanly. And it's to do with the angle as well. So because it's got that little, that little curve makes quite a big difference. If that was more straight, it may or may not work. I think you have to experiment. But one of the things you can do is consider what happens when you tilt it. And what's happening to because the water's going to be leveled, you know what I mean? So the position of the spout is really important to do with how high the level of the water is.
Right.
But you can figure out quite a bit of that by drawing it.
Yeah.
Just like draw it on tracing paper and put it across a line and see what happens, and how high can you fill it. Is this has to where, so it sits something like this.
So it's tipped back a bit so that the spout is a little bit above.
Yeah, because otherwise, if the spout's too low, it's going to leak before you get anywhere near the top. There's a load of physics about it, really.
It's a really, really beautiful piece. I love I love that you said it was an experiment, and then it turned out to be so exquisite.
Thank you. So this is some little boxes that I made. I'm doing a series of 25 unique pieces for my 25th business anniversary. So it's like my silver anniversary in silver.
Nice.
So this is slate again, and it's been laser etched by some friends of mine up the hill. That was another experiment, actually. So I didn't know how that was going to work, and nor did my friend, but we tried it.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well. So it was just drawing. I did a drawing, and she converted it into laser etching file, and then the box is like a core sample of a river flow. So all the water around here flows really fast and choppy and angular because it's flowing downhill really fast. So it's like a kind of core sample of the river flow, and then inside it's like the
riverbed.
Yeah, and there's a few little gold pebbles in there because there's always some treasure in the river, right?
Yeah,
that's absolutely exquisite. And that's raised off the bottom, or is that added on?
Did you hear that? Do it again. It is the most satisfying sound in the universe.
I managed to blow it that second time. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
The click.
Are the pebbles on the bottom raised into the base, or is that added after?
They're applied, yeah. So I made those and soldered them on before I put the base in the box, and the bases are mitered into the sides, so there's no visible solder line because the solder joint is right on the corner, so you can't see it.
Yeah,
right.
lovely.
And the top was made by sort of hammer chasing and hammer forming, and then I cut it and put these kind of vertical fillets in, because actually fast flowing water is quite angular, more so than we imagine. So I just wanted to kind of show that.
That super clean, sharp edge. Yeah. Is the box, are the walls of the box hollow, or is it solid?
Oh yeah, so it's got a wire. So the walls of the box are, this is like, I don't know, probably 1 mil.
Ah, okay.
But this is a wire. Can you see inside?
Oh, now I see. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
So the rim.
So I like, it's a rim. So I like to apply a wire on the top and the bottom, and then a bezel, because it gives a nice finish and it kind of looks satisfyingly kind of solid.
Right.
But also
without actually adding all the weight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also strong, so that's not going to change shape.
But so it's not just the wire, there's also a telescoping piece or cylinder inside. Right. Like
No,
right there.
it's a rectangular wire.
Oh, you know what? It's always so deceptive.
Yeah.
Because it looks solid.
It's made of a rectangular wire, so it's wider this way than it is that way. But this has a bezel that's soldered in to the wire. So there's a wire on the bottom and a wire on the top, as in rectangular wire. But this one has a sheet tube soldered inside it.
Right.
So it's I mean, it's always looked so solid when I've looked at the photographs of it and things. But to see it in person, it has a visual weight that is just amazing without, actually being heavy. And yeah, and that carries through because of the way the shadows are created in that wire.
Oh, I love the reflection off the laser etching on the slate. This is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Lovely.
That's what I was trying to show. So
yes. Oh, and I see it. I saw it immediately. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
It
reflects perfectly on the lid. It's just the way that the lid is synchronistic to the reflection, which is interesting.
Yeah. So the lines actually do follow. I mean, that is literally a segment out of the drawing that made this, but that's why it all kind of comes together.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
So lovely. Well, I think we have about 3 minutes left before you all need to go. And I'm mindful of the time because I don't want to make you late for your subsequent commitments. Do you have Victoria? What's your favorite thing from Rauni's shop?
Oh God, you're gonna make me choose one.
It's Rauni.
And besides Rauni, I think the artist herself would be my.
There you go. Yes, there.
But yeah, it's been so amazing to see the pieces and touch them and just I mean, well, flip them over and look at the back like we do, right? Because that's what we do.
Right. Oh, that's always the best part, right?
It is the best part, but just to take them in the way they're meant to be seen and held, not just on a flat screen, has been incredible. And I think it's a larger piece that we didn't pull out, but is it on your website, the chalkstone piece?
Oh, do you know what? I don't think I've put it on there yet.
Okay, well, stay tuned because at some point you will see. But it is one of the pieces that is very much inspired by Rauni's rock climbing and the surrounding terrain. Because she's also a climber.
Of course, she does other hard things. Of course, she does other difficult things that require, grace and dexterity and precision.
Right. And so as I'm huffing and puffing walking up a hill today, she says, "Oh, that's not really an incline. You didn't really go uphill." We have very different definitions
of a hill.
Uphill. And
Metro Atlanta is pretty flat, I would think.
Yeah. Well, no, we have hills, but not like here. Yeah. So it's extraordinary being here.
Well, we're so incredibly grateful that Rauni, were willing to come and talk with us and to talk with the people who will watch this video. And I'm just delighted that I get to meet you a little bit because, my friend Victoria, we're dear friends, and I miss getting to spend time with her. So I completely understand how it is to have somebody who's far away, whose work you love, and whose interests you share, and then getting to physically be with them is just such a rich, delightful experience.
Yeah, it's been fun. Well, thank you for having me on anyway. I mean, I hope it was interesting.
It was fabulous. It was fabulous. It was, yes, absolutely. So, if I'm ever in Wales, don't worry, I'll be coming and knocking on your door.
Absolutely, yeah. Please do. Please do.
I would love to see those pieces myself in person, and, pick up a piece of slate to take home from your quarry. So.
There's plenty.
And I'm really just dying to talk to you more about your whole design process, because it is absolutely, just exquisite planning and logistics. And I think that is one of the things that, makes a successful piece. It's that amount of planning and the thought of design, like the reflection and carrying it all the way through. That's just spectacular.
So
happy to.
Do you want to? I know you guys are going to put up the website and the animation, but your Instagram as well.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. We'll put links to your website and to your Instagram account. Do you guys want to come back over in front of the computer, Victoria, and we can wave goodbye to both of you together?
Yeah.
You can just turn the video off. Yeah, just walk back over to the computer because we can't see Victoria. I want to wave goodbye to her. I don't know what she's doing. Oh, she turned off the audio. Whoops, we lost. There we go. You just have to turn the audio back on. There we go.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Thank you both so much. It was super lovely to meet you, Rauni, and to see you, Victoria. It's always lovely to see you. So
yes.
Have a wonderful evening. And
Victoria, thank you so much for introducing us.
Thanks.
You
know I love connecting all the fabulously talented people I'm lucky enough to know. So
well, I'm grateful to be included in that group.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for having me. It's been great. It's been really great to meet you. And I'm now introduced to Little Metal Foxes because I've been checking out all your videos on YouTube.
Oh, too. Good.
Yeah,
great. It's great what you're doing. I think it's brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, we do have fun. So, all right.